Welcome back to another Film Geek Movie Spotlight. Today, guys, I am super stoked to talk about this movie because it's one that I've been honestly holding on to for quite some time. Just, because there's only so many hidden gems out there, so I didn't want to give them all away in my first 3 years on YouTube. So today, guys, I am really excited to talk about the 2008 film, I Sell the Dead.
What do you got there? Sandwich. What, which?
Sandwich. It's food.
Food. It's 2 lumps of bread with something in the middle.
It's genius.
Ah, it's queer.
That's all right. You can put anything inside.
What's in it?
Looks like... Looks like it tastes better than it looks.
I Sell the Dead is written and directed by Glenn McQuaid, and it's starring Dominic Monaghan, Larry Fessenden, Ron Perlman, and Angus Scrimm. A grave robber tells his life story to a monk hours before his execution for his crimes. Director Glenn McQuaid based the story of the feature-length film I Sell the Dead off of his short film Resurrection Apprentice, which is also starring Larry Fessenden. The short film had a much darker tone, which McQuaid changed for the feature-length film, giving it more of a comedic tone. Actor Ron Perlman was sent a rough copy of the script to see if he'd be interested, and he did like what he read. However, he asked McQuaid to make some changes to the script before he'd sign on. Excited to get an actor like Ron Perlman, McQuaid quickly agreed. Unfortunately, Perlman was busy with Hellboy 2 during principal shooting of I Sell the Dead, so it would be several months later after shooting had wrapped when Perlman was able to film his scenes. He was able to get those scenes filmed in just 3 days. This film also showcases an unknown talent of actor Angus Scrimm. He can actually play the violin. When McQuaid found this out, he asked Scrimm if he would play during one of his scenes. Scrimm hadn't played in years, but after a little practice, he was able to play again. I Sell the Dead was released January 9th, 2008, and it grossed $8,050 on an estimated $750,000 budget. The film was purchased by IFC Films and was released on DVD and Blu-ray. I have the DVD right here. I don't know if it's still in print. I don't know if the Blu-ray is still in print, but right now, you can find it still for purchase. It's not too awful expensive. But the movie really never caught on, and it didn't really even find much of a cult following. But the film isn't doing an awful bad job. In fact, critics really did enjoy the film. It's currently sitting on Rotten Tomatoes at a 72%. So what did I like about this movie? Well, first off, I really enjoy the story. It's really unusual. You don't see a lot of stories where grave robbers, grave thieves are the heroes of the story, so it's kind of a different element for a horror film, and it also lends to some very awesome comedic moments. This film also is really cool because it kind of plays like an anthology film, because of the fact that the grave robber is telling his story to the monk. It's broken up into separate little stories at different points in his life, so it does come off almost like an anthology film, but each one of the stories, of course, is connected and all interact at the end of the film. But it's a really cool way of telling the story. Also, excellent cast. Everybody in this movie has absolutely amazing chemistry and really good comedic timing. I mean, every single one of the actors in this film does an outstanding performance. There is not really one person that really shines the most. Everyone in this film really gives it their all. You can tell, I don't know much about the set or how things were going when this film was being made, but it really seems like the actors are having an absolutely phenomenal time. There's also really this great comic book element when things transfer, do transitions to different scenes and so on and so forth. Things will kind of just turn into this really cool, I don't know what you would say, animated almost still frame or something. It'll just kind of fade into comic book art, then fade back into a different scene, just kind of doing a transition in a really cool comic book fashion. In fact, if I might be wrong about this, but I'm not sure. I do believe that the art, all of the art in this film was done by the director, McQuaid, so there is that too. So the cool art transition, so cool. And there's also a absolutely perfect blend of both horror and comedy. There's some really great monster design. There's a cool zombie moments in this. This is not a zombie film. There just happens to be zombies in it. There's also vampires in it. There's all sorts of different creepy crawly things that could possibly be lurking around in a graveyard. So basically these guys are grave robbers in a world where werewolves, vampires, zombies, witches, these creatures of the night exist, and they're digging up graves and hoping, oh boy, I hope it's just a normal dead person. So yeah, this film is great, and it's also a really cool movie to see Angus Scrimm, and of course his talent of playing the violin, so if you'd like to see that, here's your opportunity. This film is just so much fun. One more thing that I would like to say about this film before we move on, and that is the set dressing. The film itself is very low budget, and for it also to be a period piece, there was of course a lot of green screen used and other kind of art techniques in order to make this film look like it's in, I guess like the 19th century or something like that, turn of the century, let's just say that. And what they do also is take modern locations, and just by using really cool set dressing, they turn these more modern places into very realistic looking, time period, kind of period piece looking. Like, for instance, there's a pub in the film that was a modern pub. Yeah, it looked kind of, like, I guess you could say an older looking pub, but then with just the right set dressing and art direction, it really looked like you get teleported back to a pub on the, in Ireland, England. I think it's Ireland. I think this takes place in Ireland. So yes, an Irish pub over in Ireland. It looks amazing. This film is just such a diamond in the rough, and it's just sad that it didn't do well when it had its very small theatrical release, and it never seemed to really pick up with audiences in the cult genre. So this is definitely a film that you should check out if you are a fan of comedies, horrors, and especially if you like the genre of horror comedies. You are in luck because this film is currently streaming with commercials for free at our good friends at Tubi TV. It's also for rent out there, Vudu, YouTube, all those places you can find it for rent. So this is not a very hard movie to find streaming wise. I don't know if you need if you want physical media for this, it might be a little bit more difficult. It took me a while to find this one. I found the DVD that I have right here. I was able to find this one at Vintage Stock, which is like a used DVD store here in Kansas City. I believe they go throughout Arkansas into Texas and all. So yeah, Vintage Stock, or if you have another like used books, Half Price Books, that's a good one. If you have a Half Price Books, check them out for different DVDs that you can find there and such. So this movie's out there. Check it out. It is an absolutely fun film if you are a fan of the genre horror comedies, which I absolutely love. Okay guys, well, that is all I have for you today. Thank you for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.